So guys, once again I am welcoming to my YouTube channel, and today's video is about the second lecture video regarding the Mohs circle. So previously we had discussed about the basic principles of Mohs circle and the Coulomb-Griffith failure criteria. And in today's video lecture, we'll discuss about the conditions that can make the system unstable. That means can create fracture or can cause failure to the particular plane of interest. Okay. So before uh, before going to the main part of the video, I'll just summarize those things that can create failure or fracture to the system actually. So the first one is increment increment in sigma 1. The second one is by decreasing sigma 3, and the third one is by increasing pore fluid pressure. So the first two, that point 1 and point 2, is basically denote the increasing the size of the Mohs circle. It means we have a smaller circle, and to fracture we need to enlarge it. Okay. And the third one is actually keeping the same size but displacing its position. Okay. So the first one is by increasing sigma 1, and the second one is decreasing sigma 3. So we know that the length of the radius is equal to sigma 1 minus sigma 3 divided by 2. So by keeping sigma 3 constant, if we'll increase sigma 1, then the length of radius will also increase. Okay. And if the length of the radius will increase, then the size of the circle will also increase automatically. Similarly, in the second case, if we are keeping the sigma 1 as a constant and we are decreasing the value of sigma 3, then also by doing so will increase the radius of the circle, and automatically the size of the circle will also increase. Okay. And in the third number case, actually what happens is that if there is amount of pore fluid pressure, it tries to minimize, or it tries to reduce the normal stress, and hence reduces the principal stress also. That means if we have sigma 1 of 20 megapascal, so not megapascal, maybe bar, or sigma 3 maybe something like 7 bar, and we have a pore fluid pressure of like 3 bar, then we can expect 20 minus 3, that is 17 bar, and 7 minus 3, that is 4 bar. But the interesting thing is, in the first case, the 20 minus 7, that is equal to 13 by 2, that is 6.5, is the length of the radius. And in the second case, like 17 minus 4 by 2, that is again 13 by 2, 6.5. So the radius of the circle is actually constant, but as we are changing the coordinate, so we are shifting the circle actually towards its left. Okay, and as we have already discussed in the previous video that to uh, uh, to make fracture or to failure of a particular plane, we need to know the point of intersection of the tangent and the Mohr circle. So, like this one. So, in order to, like, if we'll consider a situation like this, and we have, so if this is our Mohr circle, and the upper and the lower lines, they represent the enclosure of a Coulomb-Griffith fracture criteria. Then in this case we can only create fracture, or we can only cause a failure to the plane by increasing the size of the uh, circle, and the only way to increase the size of the circle is to increase the length of the radius of the circle. So the length of the radius we can increase by increasing sigma 1 at constant sigma 3 and decreasing sigma 3 at constant sigma 1. Okay, that means if the circle will somewhere between this and this point, then we then can only we expect some failure or some fracture in the system. And again, and in the second case, if let's consider, like, we have the envelope like this, and uh, this one and this one, these are the upper and the lower value of the cohesion, like we have already discussed in the first video. And we have a circle like Mohr circle like this, and we need to fracture some plane at some angle or anything uh, for this system only by increasing the pore fluid pressure. So actually pore fluid pressure does nothing but uh, only shifts the actual position of the Mohr circle, and it does not cause any increment or decrease in the size of the circle. So if we'll increase the pore fluid pressure, then the sigma 1 and the sigma 3 both will start decreasing. So what happens is actually that in this case the circle moves to its left position. So this could be like this or could be like this, and if fortunately it will touch the uh, the failure envelope, then we can expect some failure or fracture at that moment. So now we'll try to understand for the for this system. Okay, we'll maximize it a bit. Now this is good. Okay, then. So the first thing is we'll add a plane, like as we have already indicated that this one is the plane one, and to draw a particular plane, the convention is we need to keep the sigma 2. Actually the sigma 2 angle is the angle between the plane, angle between uh, angle between the plane and the sigma 2 stress axis. Okay, which is we have already fixed at 90 degree, and sigma 1 plus sigma 3 is equal to 90 degree. That means the angle between the plane and the maximum normal stress, and the angle between the plane and the minimum normal stress, and its sum will be 90 degree. That means if we are taking sigma 1 at 60 degree, so sigma 3 will be automatically 90 minus 60, that is 30 degree. Okay, so how to draw the plane actually. uh, if we'll take sigma 1 as 60 degree, then we can see in that figure that sigma 3 is automatically coming as 30 degree, and here a red color point on the figure in the figure. So if we'll plot the construction line, so this is the plane. So actually this plane represents a plane which makes an angle sigma 1, which makes an angle of 60 degree with sigma 1, and 90 degree with sigma 2, and 30 degree with sigma 3. Okay, so how to plot the point is actually uh, when we have already taken the sigma 1 angle 60 degree, so simply just make the twice of it, that is 60 into 2, that is 120 degree, and measure the particular angle from the center of the circle in an anticlockwise direction. That means we need to measure angle of 120 degree from from here to somewhere here with respect to the center of the circle, or else we can also do it in a straightforward manner, like for example, if 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 you'll see that the angle between uh, like this point and this point is actually 60 degree. Now you can see in the bottom of the left side of the image that it is 60 degree. So either we'll measure an angle of 60 degree in a clockwise manner from the sigma 3 direction, or else we can measure angle of 120 degree with respect to the center in an anti-clockwise direction. So if we'll take a sigma 1 value of 70 degree, then it's the sigma 3 automatically coming as 20 degree, and we are also observing the observing the shifting of the plane towards its left, that is this is 140 degree, because if you will make a straight line from center to this point, then you can see that this is 140.3837, or we can approximately take it as 140 degree. Similarly, if we'll take it as 120 degree, okay, sorry, my bad, 120 degree. So okay, now you can see this point is shifting to the lower hemisphere of the circle, that is 120 degree. That means 120 plus 120 is equal to 240. That means and this point is 180, and from here again we have to count 60 degree. So this is the plane. So we need to know that uh, how to fracture a particular plane at a given stress condition. So okay, then we'll reset it to the normal. I think this is okay. So we'll take the sigma 1 angle as 60, 90, and this one is 30. And what shall I do is that in the angle of internal friction, instead of putting 17, we'll put the value of 20 degree. So now this circle is somehow more stable than the previous one. So we we need to know that what is the value of sigma 1, because we have already discussed about that increasing the sigma 1, decreasing the sigma 3, and increasing the pore fluid pressure. These three ways are the measure or important way in order to fracture a particular plane. So in order to fracture this plane, what we should do is that we need to increase the size of the circle. So first thing is we'll start increasing the value of sigma 1, like 20.5 and 21 and 21.5, and now at at the value of 22, this point is actually is becoming the contact between the straight line and the circle. That means at this point, or at this value of sigma 1, this point is becoming the contact point between the straight line and the circle, and that's why we can say that this plane will fracture at a sigma 1 value of 22 degree and sigma 3 value of sigma value of 22, sigma 3 value of 5, and a tensile stress value of 2, and internal friction angle of 20 degree. Okay, but if we'll not consider this particular plane, then okay, at the value of 21.5 there is a point and vision. Okay, so now we'll reset it again. Okay, sorry. Okay, now we'll reset it again, and in the second case we'll try to decrease the sigma 3 at a constant value of sigma 1. So instead of 5 we can write 4.5. okay, yes, it's increasing, and but still not touching, and at a value of 4, this circle is actually touching the envelope. 4.2 is quite nice. So at a value of sigma 3, 4.2, and we need to remember that the initial value of sigma 3 was 5, and we are now taking a value of 4.2 instead of 5, and we are keeping sigma 1 as constant. So at a value of 4.2, the 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 Coulomb-Griffith fracture envelope is actually becoming a tangent to the circle, and the particular point of contact between the straight line and the circle is actually indicating uh, um, the the value of normal and shear stress at which that particular plane can be fractured. Okay, and if we'll want to know the particular uh, the value of like shear stress and normal stress, so from this point, we can draw a perpendicular to x-axis and also a perpendicular to the y-axis, and we can measure the value of normal and shear stress. And in the last case, okay, now we'll again set it to 5, and in the last case we'll try to increase the pore fluid pressure, and we have already discussed that by increasing the pore fluid pressure the size of the circle actually remains the same, but the actual position of the circle is actually shifts to its left. So if we'll increase the pore fluid pressure as 0 to 0.5, now you can see the blue one is uh, the modified or the circle that we want. Okay, now 1.5. okay, now you can see at a value of pore fluid pressure 1.5, and we are keeping the sigma 1 as 20 and sigma 3 is 5, that is the our original value, and we are keeping pore fluid pressure at 1.5, and now we can see that a particular straight line is becoming tangent to our circle. That means at this particular value at this particular value and pore fluid pressure of 1.5, we can fracture or we can follow a particular plane. So these are some basic concepts of Mohs circle. I think you have enjoyed through the learning of Mohs circle, and I hope that this video lecture will be very helpful to you in your future. So thank you for the patience.